You guys, this past week has been a crazy ride for the fans of DC and Superman in general, because the discourse surrounding this new Superman movie has been a chaotic one, and sadly highly disappointing, because what is going on? A lot of you folks seems to be blinded by the Star Wars crisis going on between the fans of Zack Snyder and the fans of James Gunn, thereby making you guys fail to see why this new Superman movie worked and why it's a great addition into the DC universe. I mean, I personally think it's crazy that some of you guys chooses not to see good in the movie because you are not a fan of the director. Like, what? Anyways, in this video, I just want to point out why this movie worked. Dare I say why it was perfect? At least it was perfect to me. So let's get into it. Since you guys seem to have forgotten, this movie perfectly refreshed our mind on who Superman is. Superman is someone that is selfless, someone that brings hope to mankind, someone that embodies the ideal spirit of using his power for the greater good. In this movie, we saw Superman solely using his powers to save humanity. And by humanity, I mean everyone, like from humans to animal, no one was left out. Seeing Superman strive to save a random dog or a squirrel in this movie completely sold me. Like, that is the Superman I grew up with. While past adaptations are good in their own right, they often overlook showing us these minute details that defines Superman, which probably resulted to why a lot of you guys have forgotten this core truth about him. And now you guys are calling this new Superman weak just because he's kind. That is wild. I mean, Superman is acting this way because he grew up in the farm, with the best parents he could have asked for. Jonathan and Martha Kent instilled in him the great morals of being kind and being humble and like what it means to be a human, which I think is a big deal because I mean he's basically a god. Like, James Gunn understood this, he understood this essence of Superman, and he perfectly portrayed just that in this new movie. And I think it's a really important detail for new fans of the character because I mean they need to understand him better, and this is who he is. So come on. Superman is not a dark, edgy, horrific figure that some of you guys want him to be. He's a symbol of hope and peace. He doesn't need a movie with a dark theme. Why Man of Steel depicted that, let's just leave it for what it is, a depiction of Superman. Let's stop collectively saying that is who Superman is just because you want to feed your own ego and you only want to see him as an aura-filled character. When in genuine honesty, that is not who Clark Kent is, because Clark Kent is a down-to-earth, humble guy. He's not out there trying to aura farm. When he puts on his Superman suit, he's still that humble fanboy at heart. Nothing really changes, just that he now uses his abilities without hiding. And because he's Superman, that aura that you guys are looking for just comes naturally without him having to do much about it. So like, let's just stop complicating things, guys. The Man of Steel portrayal of Superman has made a lot of you guys forget that about Superman. So I think there is every need to remind you guys who he truly is. James Gunn outdid himself when he made this movie bright and hopeful, because that is what Superman represents, and I believe that this is the ideal world he exists in. Like, what are we even saying, guys? Saying that this bright portrayal is childish doesn't make sense to me, because that is like, this is the Superman we grew up with. Like, we got attached to him because of his bright catchy color of red and blue suit. Now why not allow the younger generation to enjoy the same superhero? Like, come on, you guys don't have to be selfish. I think it's really selfish that you guys want an aura-filled Superman just for the sake of that, forgetting that Superman is like an iconic character that is constant, one whose core traits is not supposed to change on a whim, just like that. James Gunn understood that. That is why he didn't continue the Man of Steel storyline. He just gave us a fresh take that is closer to who Superman really is. Okay, quick question, guys. By looking at these two pictures, which one do you think the younger generations will easily gravitate towards more? And mind you, this is not me comparing the both characters or their performances. I'm just being real, because like I said before, the both depictions are valid, and they both served their different purposes as well. But let's not lie to ourselves by claiming that the darker version is the true Superman. Man of Steel's suit is not even a bright red and blue. Like, everything about this version of Superman is just dark. The younger generation needs a superhero that they can relate to, not one that they will be scared of. Okay, let me actually compare these two characters, guys. Tell yourself the truth. Like, you'll be scared to approach a Henry Cavill Superman because you probably view him as one unapproachable god. Whereas for David Corenswell Superman, you can easily approach him while still seeing him as a god. I mean, because of his powers, obviously, and I feel like that is what humanity needs. They don't need a Superman that they will fear, because you know why? That is not the type of person Clark Kent is. That is not the type of hero he would want to be. knowing his character. So please, let's tell ourselves the truth, guys. Another point that made this movie perfect in my opinion was the casting, which I believe is a huge part of the new DC universe. Because if a casting is missed, not only will it not sell the franchise, it can potentially kill the character that was poorly cast. James Gunn seemed to get the casting for each of the characters introduced right, because the actors each understood their assignment, and the characters they are playing, they understand the fact that they are only further carrying out an existing character. Almost all of them were on point with their respective portrayal and acting. Personally for me, the one place that the actors picked with their acting was the interview scene with Lois and Clark Kent. Rachel Brosnahan and David Corensward's chemistry was so believable that it literally felt like we were invading their privacy and not just watching two actors on the screen. And the wild part is that they were actually playing roles within roles in that space. Like, that is an insane level of talent, bro. That was crazy. Nicholas Hoult playing Lex Luthor was such a fucking good casting, because he was too good at portraying his hatred and jealousy for Superman that you can even question if we are still playing a character here. Like, I saw some folks complaining on Twitter that Lex's motivation in this movie, saying that him being jealous of Superman is not enough reason for his actions in the movie. And that is crazy to me, because that is literally what made Lex Luthor a psychotic maniac. The fact that he can go that length just because of envy is terrifying. I mean, that is actually who Lex Luthor has always been, if you are keeping it a buck. Nicholas Hoult only understood that and gave us an outstanding performance. So the argument of saying that his jealousy was a weak motivation is one that me, Baudachi, I will never agree with. Another casting that was top notch was Eddie Getagi as Mr. Terrific. To me, that is a win casting. Like, he easily embodied his role and created a new fan favorite with Mr. Terrific. He was one of the characters with an insane aura. Like, since you guys are looking for aura, Mr. Terrific has a lot of aura to share for you guys. Like, because the concept of him literally sitting down in a chair while flying solo is crazy to me. And to me, that is what is making him stand out among the other versions of the DC characters introduced in this movie. Like, this guy is literally sitting down while flying. The aura is just too much. I love that so much about his character. It's no news that James Gunn said that this is an already established world. I mean, the movie literally started with Superman being defeated from a fight that took place off screen. So with this kind of intro, you already know that this is not a Superman origin story. Like, it's literally been 3 years in this universe. That is why the complaint about the inclusion of the Justice Gang will never make sense to me, because you guys literally expect Superman to carry the weight of this entire universe on his back alone. I mean, he can do it, but should he do it? Absolutely not. And let's be real, the Justice Gang weren't just shoved in for the sake of it. They were needed. Without Mr. Terrific in this movie, Superman might not have made it. Lois couldn't even have done it all on her own. The Justice Gang was obviously there for a reason, and they served a purpose in the plot. Saying that they shouldn't have been in this movie is just a lazy criticism. And again, also guys, this is a new DC rollout. I think it's very important to slowly start introducing these characters right off the bat. No delay. Like, this is a Superman movie, quite alright, but it is not a Superman origin story, for crying out loud. So sprinkling in other characters helps build out the universe naturally, because if we wait to start getting separate movies for these characters, you guys will still not go to the cinemas to see these movies when they come out. Like, I mean, imagine a hot girl movie. Would you go to cinema to see it? I mean, maybe you will, but I'm sure that movie is going to tank so bad. So you see why including them little by little in these DC rollouts is very, very necessary. Like, what are we even saying? If not for anything, what about the gag points of it all? Like, seeing these new DC characters that would have never gotten any spotlight is not exciting to you guys. Characters like Mr. Terrific, most people don't know him that well. Personally, I only got to know him properly in the last Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earth movie. Before that, he was basically just a background character in the Justice League Unlimited series. So seeing him front and center in this film really worked. It gave the character a major boost. Guy Gardner probably wouldn't have made the cut under another director, but here, he debuted and he fit right in. Hot Girl got her first live action appearance in like forever, and we haven't cared about her character since the animated show. Like, this is a boost for her character as well. Crypto the Super Dog, he was a surprise, but one that is definitely welcomed. Crypto was so fun in this movie. I can't go over that again. Metamorpho, oh my god, like, these are characters that we normally don't see in the live actions. We only see them in animated projects, but here we got all of them in full effect and they all delivered. James Gunn is really making smart choices by giving these underused characters a shot at relevance. And not everyone watches animated shows, so the live action exposure is really important. It's helping build a deeper, richer DC universe. And if James Gunn keeps going down in this part, then what are we saying? He might just bring back DC to its former glory. James Gunn is a director that cares about his craft for what it is. The inclusion of these new characters in this movie made that clear. He wasn't afraid to take creative risks and give them a chance to shine. That bold step for me is all you need to know that he's not in this business for the quick cash grabs, but he's there for the essence of it all. Like, he respects the source materials and what each character brings to the bigger picture. In a recent interview, he said that he doesn't want a Superman that is so powerful that a character like Green Arrow wouldn't matter. That is real talk. And no, he doesn't. I don't think he means that he plans to nerf Superman's abilities so that these characters can fit in. That is not what he plans to do. Matter of fact, he can't even do that even if he wants to. He can't. His goal is just to bring a good balance among these characters. And you can already see that in this film, because there was a moment where Superman and Lois were together talking, and we could see the Justice Gang fighting one gigantic monster in the background. That is exactly what he's talking about. These characters matter, even in a world where Superman exists. So by including the Justice Gang, he already made them feel important, giving them that little moment to shine. Even though we didn't see them fight properly with that gigantic monster, but we got the message. That action did not take away anything from Superman. It did not make him appear weak. James Gunn just wants other superheroes to feel important as a stand-alone, and I am not mad at that. We need directors that are actually fans of the project they are working on, so hating on him is absurd. What James Gunn is doing in this new DCU is laying the foundation for future projects by building up characters that usually don't get the spotlight, and it's already paying off, guys. I mean, we're looking at the possibility of a Jimmy Olsen spin-off, and Mr. Terrific might even get his own series too. So like, who would have thought a Jimmy Olsen show? Yet here we are. With this approach, I'll tell you that DC is in good hands, so take your hate to the other side. Now, there are criticisms, quite alright, I mean, come on. Some people didn't like the dialogue in this movie, they complained about it a lot. Others felt like there were too many characters, or that the political undertones were unnecessary. These are like valid takes, but even with that, the film still delivered enough entertainment to let those things slide. And more importantly, it captured the essence of Superman, which I think is really important. So I just think you guys missed the point of this movie, or you guys are just choosing to not understand. If you made it to this level of the video, you are the real MVP. I really appreciate you guys watching my videos. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. This is really my second video on this new James Gunn Superman movie, and at this point I think it's safe to say that I'm now officially invested in the DC rollout. Let's just see where it goes. I'll see you guys in my next video. I'm out of here.